Imagine a world where an attack can come from literally anywhere, above the clouds, deep under the ocean, inside your own networks, or from a swarm so synchronized it moves like one living creature. And here's the wild part. That world isn't sci-fi anymore. AI-powered weapons are advancing so fast that even governments can't keep up, and these systems are built to overwhelm, outsmart, and strike with scary precision. In this video, we're breaking down the top 10 new AI weapons that could reshape global warfare before most people even realize what's going on. AI-guided missile systems missiles have always relied on guidance systems, but AI is taking their precision and adaptability to a new level. Instead of simply locking onto a target and flying in a straight line, future AI-guided missiles will continuously analyze conditions mid-flight. They'll adjust their path if the enemy tries to jam them, hide behind terrain, or use decoys. One notable example is Estonia's Frankenberg Mark I, designed as a low-cost interceptor specifically for drones. It uses AI to track small, fast-moving UAVs that traditional air defense systems have trouble detecting. The affordability factor is important because fighting drone swarms requires interceptors that can be produced in large quantities. Larger Western missile systems are also incorporating AI into their seekers. Think of the next generation of air-to-air missiles or surface-to-air systems analyzing patterns, predicting evasive maneuvers, and dynamically optimizing their flight path with machine learning. In practice, this means future missiles will be more resilient against electronic warfare. If enemies try to confuse them with jamming or decoy signatures, the missile's AI will recognize the deception and recalibrate instantly. Strategically, AI-guided missiles give militaries a way to counter both manned aircraft and mass drone attacks. More accuracy means fewer wasted shots, and adaptive guidance means higher success rates in contested environments. AI Cyber EW fusion, electronic warfare and cyber warfare used to be treated as separate domains. One disrupted radios, radars, and GPS signals, the other attacked networks, data centers, and digital infrastructure. But modern militaries are blending the two, and AI is the glue holding them together. Think of this as an AI brain that continuously scans the electromagnetic spectrum, everything from Wi-Fi to military long-range communication, while simultaneously probing enemy digital networks. When it spots a vulnerability, it can decide whether to jam it, spoof it, or hack it. In some advanced test systems, AI models even choose the proper waveform for jamming or deploy malware packets in real time. The US Navy and various defense partners are already prototyping autonomous EW cyber payloads. These tools can be mounted on drones, aircraft, ground vehicles, or even satellites. The UK's digital targeting web is pushing toward a future where a radar hit or a satellite detection could instantly cue a cyber attack or an electronic suppression burst without waiting for human deliberation. This fusion of EW and cyber is powerful because it closes the loop. Instead of waiting minutes or hours to coordinate an attack, the system reacts in seconds, sometimes faster. That speed creates a strategic edge by blinding enemy sensors, breaking their communications, and interrupting their command systems before they can mount a response. But it also raises escalatory questions. When AI systems operate at machine speed, unintended consequences grow more likely. And when cyber and EW effects blend together, it becomes harder for opponents to know what happened or how to respond. Undersea autonomous strike systems. The ocean is the last great stealth domain, and autonomous underwater strike systems are turning it into one of the most unpredictable battlefields on Earth. These are not small drones. Some are the size of mini-submarines, capable of crossing entire oceans and remaining hidden for weeks or even months. Russia's Poseidon is the most infamous example. It's essentially a nuclear torpedo the size of a small submarine, powered by a nuclear reactor and carrying a massive thermonuclear warhead. Poseidon can cross thousands of kilometers underwater, navigate autonomously using sonar and AI guidance, and strike coastal targets or naval bases with little warning. The Russians frame it as an answer to US missile defenses, something that can't be intercepted. On the US side, Boeing's Orca XLUUV is built for versatility rather than raw destructive power. It has an enormous payload bay that can carry mines, smaller drones, or various guided weapons. Its range and autonomy mean it can perform long-duration missions that are too dangerous or too dull for manned submarines. China has been developing large underwater drones as well, focusing on counter-surveillance missions, essentially hunting down undersea sensor networks that adversaries use to track submarines. These underwater robots don't need crews, they don't need air, and they don't get tired. Strategically, these systems represent a shift in naval warfare. They allow militaries to project power beneath the surface without risking crewed vessels. They can threaten ports, choke points, underwater infrastructure, and even civilian shipping lanes. And because of their stealth and endurance, they introduce new uncertainties into nuclear deterrence and maritime security. Dual-role loiterers. Dual-role loiterers are one of the most flexible categories of modern AI weapons because they're both fast-arriving missiles and patient hunter drones in a single package. They can sprint to the target zone at high speeds and then slow down, hover, or circle, scanning for targets with onboard sensors and AI recognition. Israel's Rafael L Spike 1X is a great example. It moves like a missile, traveling long distances at jet speed. But once it reaches the area of interest, it behaves like a loitering UAV, staying overhead for nearly half an hour. This means it can adjust to real-time battlefield changes, something traditional missiles simply cannot do. Turkey's Kemankesh 1 pushes this idea even further. It's a mini-jet loiterer that can strike ground targets or intercept airborne threats. In one test, it carried out an air-to-air engagement autonomously, showing how AI guidance is now allowing small loiterers to act like multi-role fighters on a tiny budget. These systems are loaded with onboard machine vision, target classification models, and dynamic flight algorithms. Instead of relying only on human operators, they can search for specific vehicle shapes, heat signatures, or behaviors. That makes them valuable in contested areas where communications are jammed or delayed. Militaries love these dual-mode loiterers because they reduce reaction times and extend flexibility. They can act as early warning scouts or precision strike assets. And because they combine the attributes of two different weapons, they're harder for enemies to predict or counter. Counter-drone grids. Picture this. The sky is crowded with drones, everything from small commercial quadcopters to improvised kamikaze UAVs. Now imagine trying to defend a military base, a power plant, or even an entire border from swarms that can come from any direction, at any altitude, and at any time. That's the core problem counter-drone grids were designed to solve. These aren't just single jammers or isolated radar units. A counter-drone grid is a fully networked defense web, where radars, cameras, acoustic sensors, and jammers all talk to each other through AI. Instead of relying on a human operator to manually identify and track a threat, the system fuses data from dozens of sensors at once, builds a real-time 3D picture of the airspace, and flags any incoming object that doesn't look friendly. You see examples of this in places like India's new Saksham grid, which uses AI-powered analysis to detect and classify drones the moment they appear. Europe's proposed drone wall is another version of the same idea, stretching across several countries as one unified defensive curtain. The real value comes from how AI coordinates the response. One node might detect the drone, another might jam it, and a third might launch a kinetic interceptor. Everything happens at machine speed. The strategic reason for these grids is simple. Drone swarms are cheap, expendable, and brutally effective at overwhelming traditional point defense systems. To counter them, militaries need systems that are just as fast and even more coordinated. An AI-driven grid gives defenders the upper hand by turning the entire protected area into a smart, reactive shield. Swarm intelligence. Swarming is where AI truly changes the game. Instead of one drone attacking at a time, a swarm sends dozens or even hundreds of drones that coordinate dynamically. They don't rely on a central controller. Each drone communicates with its neighbors, sharing sensor data and adjusting formation on the fly. China, the US, and several NATO countries have conducted swarm tests where drones autonomously identify targets, assign roles, and execute attacks collectively. Ukraine has also demonstrated coordinated drone raids deep behind enemy lines, using autonomous navigation and pre-mapped routes. The whole point of a swarm is resilience. If you destroy 5 drones, the rest continue the mission. If one drone identifies a target, all drones know about it instantly. They can split into attack groups, sacrifice some as decoys, and shift their approach angles in ways that overwhelm even advanced air defenses. This is the future of saturation warfare, where the cost of defense skyrockets while the cost of the attack plummets. Militaries are now experimenting with counter-swarms, AI systems designed to identify swarm patterns and break them apart before they can hit their targets. But the reality is, no one has a perfect solution yet. Swarms are fast, adaptable, and extremely hard to track once they split. Replicator Drone Army Project. Replicator is one of the most ambitious US drone programs, and at its core, it's about mass. Instead of building a few expensive, highly specialized drones, the goal is to build thousands of relatively inexpensive unmanned systems that can be deployed everywhere: air, land, sea, and underwater. Replicator isn't about a single weapon. It's an entire shift in strategy, treating drones like ammunition. These drones can scout, attack, jam, perform logistics, or overwhelm defenses simply by existing in overwhelming numbers. Some carry sensors, some carry weapons, some simply act as decoys to draw enemy fire. The US pushed Replicator forward specifically to counter the pace at which China is producing unmanned platforms. The idea is that no matter how advanced a system is, it can still be worn down by quantity. And if your quantity is cheap, autonomous, and networked by AI, it becomes a serious force multiplier. Replicator drones are already being delivered in tranches. The first waves focused on reconnaissance and maritime surveillance. Future versions will likely include kamikaze drones, autonomous boats, and mini UUVs. The strategic value is clear. When you can field thousands of autonomous drones, you create an ecosystem of unmanned assets that complicates every enemy decision. They can't focus on one threat because there are too many. They can't predict your approach because drones can come from every angle. That's why Replicator is considered a major shift in US force design. Kargu 2 and autonomous attack drones. The Turkish Kargu 2 isn't the biggest or most powerful drone on the battlefield, but it's one of the most significant because it crossed a line that had long been theoretical. Fully autonomous, lethal engagement. In a United Nations report, the Kargu 2 was documented carrying out an autonomous attack in Libya, identifying and engaging human targets without direct human command. Kargu 2 is equipped with advanced computer vision, facial recognition capabilities, and real-time tracking algorithms. It's designed to operate individually or as part of a swarm, meaning dozens can coordinate their attack patterns and overwhelm defenses in complex terrain. What makes Kargu-type drones dangerous is how small and agile they are. They can fly indoors, weave between buildings, and strike with seconds of warning. Their warheads are just large enough to neutralize individuals or lightly armored vehicles, which makes them perfect for urban warfare. Beyond Turkey, Many countries are moving towards similar autonomous strike drones. Russia has its KUB and Lancet families. Western companies are experimenting with AI-powered quadcopters capable of autonomous navigation in GPS-denied environments. The strategic challenge is that these drones reduce the time available for human decision-making on both sides. They also make assassination, ambush, and infiltration operations easier to execute at scale, which complicates traditional security planning. Shahed/Jiran loiterers. Few weapons have shaped modern conflict as visibly as the Shahed 136, also known as the Jiran 2 when produced in Russia. These loitering munitions are cheap, long-range, and surprisingly destructive for their cost. They follow pre-programmed routes, they can navigate using GPS or inertial systems, and newer versions even carry anti-jamming upgrades. Russia's mass production has turned these drones into psychological and strategic weapons. They've been launched in waves that sometimes reach hundreds in a single night, targeting energy infrastructure, airfields, arms depots, and urban centers. Their low price makes them ideal for saturation attacks designed to overwhelm air defenses. Newer Jiran models have larger warheads and onboard cameras, giving operators the ability to correct course mid-flight. Some include LTE modems that transmit real-time footage during the strike. Others fly alongside decoys that confuse defensive radars. Militaries pay attention to Shahed-style drones because of what they represent: a shift toward high-volume, low-cost precision attack. Traditional air defenses struggle against these drones because the cost-exchange ratio is terrible. Shooting a $20,000 drone with a $2 million missile is simply unsustainable. That's why countries everywhere are now racing to upgrade their counter-UAS systems. Shaheds demonstrated that even nations without a huge air force can project strategic pressure using simple, autonomous weapons. AI Battle Network. The final category isn't a weapon by itself, it's the nervous system connecting all other weapons. AI battle networks are the backbone of modern multi-domain operations, linking satellites, drones, radars, infantry units, ships, and aircraft into a single shared digital environment. The US version of this is CJADC2, a system meant to connect every sensor and every shooter across all services in all allied nations. The idea is that if one platform detects a target, whether it's a satellite, a ground radar, or a drone, another platform anywhere in the region should be able to fire on it almost instantly. The AI handles the data fusion, prioritization, and weapon assignment. The UK's digital targeting web follows a similar model, giving commanders a unified view of the battlefield and allowing AI systems to recommend or even automate engagement decisions. This transforms warfare into a highly coordinated, data-driven environment. Strategically, this is where the competition between major powers is heating up. Whoever builds the most efficient, resilient, and intelligent battle network gains a massive advantage. Faster decision loops mean faster strikes, more coherent defense, and a reduced margin for enemy maneuver. But these systems also introduce risks. They are complex, they depend on secure communications, and they become prime targets for cyber attacks. And when AI gets involved in battle management, militaries must carefully balance speed with human oversight. What ties all these AI weapons together is one clear trend. The battlefield is becoming faster, smarter, and more autonomous. From undersea drones to air swarms to AI-guided missiles, every domain of warfare is being reshaped by intelligent systems. And the nations that master these tools first will set the rules for tomorrow's conflicts.